Oof. Hello, 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 hello. I don't like how close I am. Things are gonna shift a little bit. There we go. Trying to crop out the mess that's still over here from the box that I still have yet to unpack. Well, I need to find a place for the stuff. I probably need shelves and like a bookcase or something to put some of this stuff up. Anyway, hi. Welcome to another episode of OJI Oracle Juice Intuitive. My name is Patrick. I will be your host yet again. This video is not sponsored by anybody, but does endorse the message to drink responsibly if thou dost so choose to drink. So today, I think I'm just gonna maybe once a week or every 8 days or so at least. Just do random cards. We'll just be oh, let's see what comes out. Because this is where I am in my life right now. So today I have the wild unknown archetypes and the archeo. So we're going to do an archeo type thing. What I'm going to do is I am going to pull an archeo and I'm going to read the tale of, it's the blank one. I'm going to read the tale of whatever archeo card comes out. And then I'm going to separate the wild unknown archetypes into the categories of archetypes of the self, archetypes of place, archetypes of things, and those things. The self, the person, the place, the setting, and then the thing. Maybe we'll do 2 people. I don't know. We'll see. And then I might I think I'll pull a tarot based off of the I don't know if I'll do it off of the archeo or the archetype to give the story. So the tale is the larger framework, and then I'll use the wild unknown archetypes, and then we'll get into specifics. So that's what I feel like doing today. I don't think I've seen this one. And we'll just see how it works out. Now, sometimes I separate these before I go live. Sometimes I separate them during the live. Today, I'm going to separate them during the live because it feels like getting these in order is a part of it. So you will probably just see and hear me do that and take an occasional sip. This is going to be gone. This is going to be gone. I feel like I still take up so much of the screen. Give me 1 second. See, I feel like it doesn't look that bad on OBS, but I don't know. I don't want to be center stage today. All eyes on me in the center of that ring, just like a circus. I don't know that song. Don't stand there watching me, follow me, tell me what you can do. I don't know that song. Here we go. I think. No, it's alt. There we go. That's a little better. How do I? No, I want to move it more this way. Yes. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know. Bear with me or don't. I might as well go full screen. We are uncropping the image. Oof. I said we're going to uncrop the image. I just lied. I didn't mean to, but I gotta. We can't have all that. That's fine. And then I feel like there's literally no change. A little bit. There's a little bit. It changed a little bit. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm not as prominent. Okay, so the first place is the Bardo. Should I shuffle these first? Sure. So the way I do it is for cards number 71 through 78, I shuffle them into, or I place them into the three different categories. So cards 1 through 30 are the archetypes of self. 31 through 50 are the place / setting. And then 51 through 70 is the items or the things, the nouns. There you go. And so 71 through 78 are like large transformational, whatever, milestone markers. So I just shuffle those in with the people, places, and things. The tempo just flipped over. I think we got the tempo before. I don't remember why. I may be able to if I try to think about it. The sustainer is the first archetype of self, and the warrior, and then the bridge, which is another place. Interesting. $44. Some of these I'm like, this is a thing. The first thing is the storm. So it was the temple, the sustainer, and the storm. That's very like whatchamacallit energy. Wait, is the storm a thing or a place? No, this is a place. Oof, I lied. That's my second time lying. I'm sorry. It's not intentional. Yeah, that's the place. So the offering is the offering and the vow. And these two came out together. I feel like the last time I used these, or the time before last. So it would be the temple, the offering, and the sustainer, which makes sense, right? You make offerings at temples, and the sustainer is the keeper of life, the maintainer of life, the perpetuator, the propagator. Animal. Oh, I'm not really paying attention. I think maybe, yeah. How do I know? Yeah, I am. I am paying attention. I thought I was paying attention. 46. Okay. Some of these things I'm like, I don't know if that's a place or a thing. I need to pay better attention. It's fine. I've been up all night. I need not be so hard on myself. Mayhaps I need to be a little more understanding. Yeah, this does go here. Sorry. Oh, that does not go there. Hold up. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should only be 33. So someone is in here that does not belong. Let's see if we can't find it real quick. Oh, there's, yeah, okay. Like, who does not belong? Who? 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 All of these belong. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'll timestamp when I actually start pulling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. This should be 22. So there's a thing that is mixed in with the people that I've overlooked twice. Once quickly and once when I was like looking for it. What thing is blending in with the people? This one will be easy because it's less than 30 and it should be above 51. So if I look at the numbers, I don't even have to look too hard because it'll start with an L. It has to start with an L. So who's got an L? Okay, well, that isn't like in the 70s. I don't think anyone does. Do I have two cars that are like stuck together or something? I'm not seeing it. I didn't see it. I'm losing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Wait, there's 7? 71 to 78 is 8. 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it should be 3, 3, 2. I counted them as I was going through it, and there were only 3. Oh my gosh. Okay. 24, 10, 25, 4, 34. Oh, the river. The river was with the people. I need more like Mike's Hard Lemonade in life. So it wasn't a thing that was with the people, it was a place. And that's very like, I don't even remember what the word was or the name. I don't remember. It's funny. I could see like a spirit of the river or like spirited away the Kohaku River. I remember your name. You're the Kohaku River. It's like the river personified. And it looks like the hunter. So every time I saw it in my mind, I just like saw the hunter, I guess. And I assumed it was in the 50s, 60s, or 70. So then there's something in here that doesn't belong in here. There's a thing in the places. I had to go like number by number. I'm like, hold up, there are still too many. The mirror was with the places. There we go. Not all is right in the world. So we end at the top of these with the eternal child, the empty room, and the mirror. Ooh, that is lonely. That is lonely. But I feel like that answers a question that I had. So we started with the sustainer. Oh, we started with Russ. How you doing? I hope you have a great day today. We started with the sustainer, the temple, and the offering. So it was on that side, it was like it's a no-brainer. But on this side, it's the eternal child, the empty room, and the mirror. This is like the lonely one. But if I try to put them together, it's almost like it's a. I'm glad to hear it. It's like it's like if I had to create a story or a context around it, it would be like there's someone who goes to a temple and makes an offering, and the divine is present because we see the sustainer at the temple, called in, called in by the offering. But the person who goes doesn't notice that the divine is there, that the sustainer is there, because the eternal child feels like they're in an empty room with only themselves or some version of themselves with this mirror. But it's like the moon is behind the mirror. So it's like all that the eternal child can't see is behind like the wall of the empty room. It's almost like it's one of those two-way mirrors or whatever. So it's like the sustainer can see through the glass to the eternal child, but when the eternal child goes up, they only see a mirror. Oof. Okay, so no, let's be good. You went to the Oracle of Delphi and didn't understand what connected with you until a couple of months later. How was it? Was it as, I don't know. I guess I guess that would be like inside the whatever with all of the fumes and the. Who's at the bottom of the deck over here? The Falcon. Interesting. Beautiful. I'm glad to hear it. I don't even know, like. Oh, snap. Where I would, like. I don't know. Go. If there were any particular place. Oh, actually. I do know. I didn't think I knew, but I do know. And I am very excited for that opportunity. I haven't had a dream about it, kinda. Oh, interesting. All right, let's get this done. Oh, I need a timestamp. 22. It took me 22 minutes to get the cards separated. Oof. I ain't even got my keyboard up here. Oh, my phone is right here. I can do this. I wish I could text myself. Can I text myself? Let's see. I guess I could just like make a note, which would probably be easier. So I'm just going to do that. If I can find it. Oh, the handwritten note from last time. This time we type. And then what time is it? 23:23. Let's go. All right. The tail. Whose tail do we look at today? That's funny. There's that card. So this is the card I was like, I don't think I've seen this card. And then after the Falcon was at the bottom of the deck, I split it and I saw this card. And now this card is at the bottom of the deck. It's interesting because when I was like, whose tail are we looking at today? I was like, oh, like a Tail instead of a Tale. And it's the wolf, and wolves have tails. Somebody, it was Reem, in her collective reading, the last time she went live, she mentioned the silver wolf, or the silver wolf came out. And it made me think of the gray wolf. It made me think of antimony, or at least in the well-known alchemy, it made me think of antimony and the gray wolf. And now the wolf is here. So let's get a character. A place. We'll build out the setting. Ooh. Hold up. That's fine. And then a thing. I could use the Watermelon Tarot because I don't know what other tarot deck I would use for the wolf. I could actually use. Is it the Runic Tarot? There's a card with the on the Four of Swords. I think it is a Runic Tarot. Give me a second. There's a lady sitting by a campfire, curled up next to a wolf, and I'm pretty sure it's the Runic Tarot. Because I'm thinking of the colors, and I can't think of any other deck that it would be. Oh, I mean, there's also freaky, like Odin's wolves. There is the wolves of the eclipse, Hati, maybe, and the other one that I don't remember. Let's see. Wait, are you in the book? Does the book have pictures of the cards? It does. Nice. Where are the swords? I want to make sure it's this deck. Oh, it doesn't have pictures. It's not this one. 4 Vikings stand on a coastline. It's not this deck. I almost feel like it's one of the decks that I gifted away, but it can't be. Maybe it is the Tarot Apocalypsis. Give me another moment, please. There's a lot of like searching, separating, and this is all a part of the process. At least today it is. Oh. Where's my Tarot Apocalypsis? Hello? Oh, it's right here. Now, this book, I'm pretty sure has images of the cards. I would almost think it's the vice versa, but I know it's not the vice versa because there's no other side of this card. There's the 8 of Swords. It is the Tarot Apocalypsis. This is the card. It's a dog, but, well, it may not be a dog. It's not the same color, at least, but this is the deck I'm going to go with. This actually works. This works for not the reason that I thought. This works for very not the reason that I thought. Let's see. So one of the 2 archetypes of self came out. One of them is the one. The one is kind of like a sourcey energy. And the Tarot Apocalypse is the different suits are based on different theological systems. So that's why I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because there are like literally like gods and goddesses. Deities. There are deities. Like prominently, heavily featured in this deck. So I was like, okay. I kind of want to get a few of these face down before I read it. So this will be the context that we come in with. I might have to make another timestamp. Let's see. Oh, okay. These I kind of want to pick. So if you fall out face up, I'm putting you back. You fall out face down, you can stay out. All right, 3. Ooh, and it fell out face down. 2, 1. Oop, that's face up. Page of Swords came out face up. She goes back. She broke the rules. It doesn't count. She's disqualified. Okay. I guess we'll do it like this. So the first card fell out literally right in between the two archetypes of self. Am I going to look at the bottom? Not yet. If I do, it won't be yet. I may not. We'll see. Okay. So the tail of the wolf is where we'll start. It's the last tail. It's the warrior, the wolf, and then this image of the author. See, there's the author. There's the wolf. That's the last tail. So the final tail. Wow, this is like kind of getting a little dark. This is like the antimony wolf card from the new deck. Oh, snap. So it's antimony. I guess in the well-known alchemy, she said antimony is known as the Great Wolf. So that's like a common thing. Or a known thing, I guess, more than common. I'm done. It's over. No more Oracle juice. This just like right off the top, it feels like, so the temple came out as the place and the one came out. So instead of the sustainer being like, it feels like a Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, Shiva, the destroyer. Or instead of it just being like specifically a sustainer type deity that is summoned by the offering made at the temple, and then the eternal child that's in the empty room that only sees themselves, that can't see beyond the mirror. The temple is here again. The forest looping path offers so it feels like a world gone dark almost. Like this feels, or maybe it's not the world, it's almost like a world that the divine has stepped away from. It's an unlink? Okay. It feels like people, it's a world with inhabitants that feel like the divine has stepped away from it. And we'll see. The forest looping path offer no clear points of reference. The disoriented human goes around in circles. And I'm using this circular deck. We take the links where we can get them. The forest looping paths offer no clear points of reference. The disoriented human goes around in circles. The wolf watches. Before long, the befuddled man halts, head in hands, wondering what possessed him to take such a shortcut. When he looks up, the wolf is standing in front of him. As a child, he'd been petrified of fictional wolves. Now faced with a large real one, he knows he is about to die. But he's wrong, as he is I can't read today. All right, see you later, Russ. Enjoy your day. But he's wrong, as he has been about most things, because the wolf, spreading its jaws, gently takes his sleeve and guides him to the forest's edge. The forest's looping paths offer no clear points of reference. The disoriented human goes around in circles. The wolf watches. Before long, the befuddled man halts, head in hands, wondering what possessed him to take such a shortcut. When he looks up, the wolf is standing in front of him. As a child, he'd been petrified of fictional wolves. Now, faced with a large, real one, he knows he is about to die. But he's wrong, as he has been about most things, because the wolf, spreading its jaws, gently takes his sleeve and guides him to the forest's edge. I made it through it! Okay. What's interesting about that tale, to me, he knows he's about to die. It's that part. Like, he has a knowing based upon, like, a belief he created surrounding fiction when he was a child. So, like, not only was his brain not as developed as it is or will be when he's an adult because he was a child, not only did he have probably a significantly less amount of just like life experience as a child versus an adult, but it was also like fictional wolves that weren't even like real wolves when he was a child. But the real wolf gently guides him to the forest's edge. So now this gives this a different context. So the who in the story, which I'm guessing is the wolf, it's the one that I've already showed you that kind of feels like source, and the shadow. It's the shadow of the one. And it feels like that's the wolf. The gray wolf, because it's like shadow. The place is the temple, and you can see the greenery in the temple. So I was like, oh, he got lost in the forest. Oh my gosh. Like, look, that could be in the middle of the forest. And the thing is the kiss, number 60. So it's like, I think when I went live recently, the story of the person who was meditating in the middle of the forest, trying to, it's funny that it comes up again now, I guess. The person who was meditating in the middle of the forest seeking Buddha. And when Buddha approached the person, they couldn't be bothered enough to look at who was standing before them. And the person's like, I'm like meditating until I can meet the Buddha. And the person was like, or the Buddha, the other person was like, oh, like, well, like, what do you need? Like, what are you looking for? And they're like, I need the Buddha. And I need you to stop messing with me. Like, can't you see that I'm busy? And they were like, well, maybe I can help. And they were like, yeah, I don't think so. And then the person walked away, and that was the Buddha. Like, they were face to face with the very one that they were seeking, but they couldn't see. I guess like the eternal child that couldn't see beyond the mirror of the seemingly empty room, that two-way mirror that the Buddha, the divine, is on the other side of, like looking in, the wolf that watches. And the kiss, it feels like, because the kiss feels like a brush, like, right, like if they just exchange a peck and keep walking or whatever. Like it's a delicate touch type of energy. There isn't a like the delicate touch archetype. Wow. So the world in reverse is a card. As soon as I was like, or after I was like, I'll only take a card if it comes down face down. It came out and it landed just like this, like in the corner. If I can hold it up, I'm not gonna do a great job, but like this. Like here's these two cards that landed like that, like in between them, but with like the corner of the card. There you go, in that Christ. And then we see in the world upright, it's a man welcoming an angel, an aspect of the divine. It's the world in reverse. And I guess it's interesting because before I read it, it was like, this feels like at least the people who live in this world feel like the divine has abandoned them. That's why it's like, it's so like dark and gloomy feeling. The temple has the Prince of Cups upright. Now, I think this Prince of Cups it doesn't matter who. It's another angel. It's giving me another angel frequency. Because, like, you see the wings. And it's almost like this cup would be the offering that, like, calls to this angelic frequency. I think in Reem's Leo reading, she just got angelic frequency. She did. I don't think she did. The Seven of Swords is the kiss. And it's this eclipse. Speaking of the wolves in Norse mythology, the wolves of the eclipse. Hati is the only one. Skull. Oh, there you go. It's Skull and Hati, or Skoll, Skoll, I think. Skull and Hati. But since Hati is the one that I could remember, let's look at Hati. Oof. Hati Herthvit Nessen. First name meaning he who hates or enemy. Chases Mani, the moon. Hati chases Mani, the moon. Hati chases the moon. This is a crescent moon here. And it was the moon in the mirror that came out. Snorri also gives another name. Oh, the moon hound or moon's dog. Monogarmer. Is that it? He is the son of Fenrir. Hati's mother is the giantess, not named but mentioned. Okay, that's fine. Hati was the one that swallowed the moon. Cool. So the Seven of Swords in this kiss. The Seven of Swords in the kiss, again, it feels like the person who met the Buddha but didn't recognize. It feels like the eternal child who thinks, feels, believes, who knows. The eternal child that knows that they're in an empty room, that there's nobody on the other side. But they are. The Seven of Swords, like that's the deceit and the trickery of the Seven of Swords. Maybe that's also why it's like it's a kiss with the divine instead of it being like a full-on embrace. Right? Like that's a phrase, right? Let's see. I guess that's not the phrase. What's the phrase? Like I'm thinking like a kiss with destiny. What is the phrase? A brush. It's a brush. A brush with destiny. Yeah, brush with destiny is the phrase. Is the phrase. Um, but it's like also it's a kiss under moonlight, which is low key giving me Psyche and Cupid energy. She was like, I want to see you. Like, why are you always hidden? And he was like, if you could actually see me, your eyes would burn out of your skull because I am a god and you are a mortal. Let us love each other in the dark. I just saw, I'm watching an anime and there is like an ancient land spirit thing. And they're like, don't look her directly in the eyes. Basically, like, don't look at her. But don't look her directly in the eyes, or like her maternal instinct will kick in and she'll go after you. Also, like, I remember in Supernatural when Castiel, the angel, was following Dean and he went to like the psychic lady and like Castiel was trying to prevent her from looking at him, but she did anyway, and then she went blind. Like her eyes burned out of her head because of his radiance. Which would be an interesting twist on this because before it's been this energy of like we just can't see or we can't recognize for some reason the divinity or the opportunity, the whatever that's in front of us. But now with those as like a context, it makes it more intentional. It's like we don't see because we can't. Because if we did, we would suffer some kind of immense pain or worse. Like that's why it's the shadow of the one. The shadow you can look at, but the one in all of its like brilliance. Mm-mm. All right, now let's start pulling these. We've established the groundwork. I love how like these all just flow. That's why I was like, sometimes like me separating the cards is a part of the reading because that showed us again the sustainer, the temple, and the offering, and then like the sustainer, the temple, the offering on one side. I left the closet open. Well, it's fine. I got that's where I store the cards, like back there. I left it open. Usually I close it. So like I turn off my camera, I go back there, I get the cards, and then I come over here and I turn it back on. I just realized I left the door open. It's fine. Um, I forgot what I was saying. Wow, what was I saying? It's fine. Oh, how it's a part of it sometimes. We saw the sustainer, the temple, and the offering on one side, but the eternal child, the empty room, and the mirror on the other side. I'm giving that two-way mirror energy. And this is also so like when I went looking for the watchers, because it was like at a point in time where watcher energy was heavy. So I combined the wild unknown tarot and animal spirits, and I went looking for the owls or the birds. I went looking for the birds, or was it owls? Yeah, I went looking for the owls because I was like, it was a suit. It was a suit. The swords. I mean, the swords are owls in the wild unknown tarot. I didn't. I forgot that the Wheel of Fortune has an owl on it, so that was an owl that I saw that I didn't expect, and then the actual owl card. But we only saw one owl before like the veil, and then the rest of the owls were after behind the veil. But there was the wolf that was just like standing, watching, waiting, smiling. And then there were more watchers. And in the wolf's tail, the wolf was standing, watching, waiting upon the man in the forest. And it wasn't until he was at his wits' end, hands in his palms, that the wolf approached him. And he was like, "Oh, great. Now I'm going to die on top of being lost." And the wolf was like, "Calm down." It guided him to the forest's edge. So it's interesting that the setting is the temple. And again, we see this angel descending, could be ascending, but we see the angel in the place where you would assume that angels would gather, in a temple. So it's like the setting is right. But again, I guess that's what made it feel like the people of that world, or the person, the eternal child, that's what makes them feel so alone, because they know that like they're in the right place. But again, it's like they can't, with the mirror, it's feeling like they can't see beyond themselves to notice the divine that is there, or something like that. It goes deeper than the mirror. The Eight of Cups. Is that it? Or do I want to talk about this? Okay. The Eight of Cups fell out on top of and immediately under this Knight of Cups. Like that. I don't know if this is some kind of initiation. The star is at the bottom of the deck. Typically, the star is naked, but we can see it's almost like, as this person, the Eight of Cups is a card of like walking away. Even though like there's feelings, it's making the hard choice to walk away. But it's like, as she keeps Eight of Cupsing, as she keeps moving and walking away, she's like shedding more and more of her clothes. You can see she's like barely clothed at that point. And what I was looking at, it looks like there's a person. I don't know if it'll focus. There's a person like right there by that column waiting with a torch, like back here. There's the statue up here. There's also a person there. She's looking at the person. Everything is backwards. She's looking at the person rather than the statue. That, to me, it's like, as she moves further and further along this path or journey, she begins to hear, know, understand the voice of the divine, like the actual divine, rather than the divine that's put like on the pulpit, or the one that's like, it's like if the divine's name is not Jeff. Yeah, we'll just say Jeff because it's easy. Like, there's the actual, well, okay, let's say like there's a person named Jeff, and Jeff is like super famous for whatever. And everybody's heard about Jeff. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Jeff, you're so amazing. Like, you do this and you do that, and this is what your personality is like." And it's like they know who Jeff is, but not because they know Jeff personally, just because they've heard so much about Jeff. They feel like they know Jeff. Like, that is the Jeff on like the pedestal, the statue of Jeff. But this is like real Jeff. And the more they like shed their own whatever and become more truly, wholly, authentically themselves, or whatever, the more they begin to see Jeff for Jeff. And then they can have a conversation with Jeff. They can form a personal, intimate, Intimate is the card that I kept seeing. I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen this card before. They can form a personal, intimate relationship with Jeff rather than getting to know. It's like forming a personal, intimate relationship with Jeff rather than forming a relationship with the image of Jeff or the belief or the projection of Jeff that somebody knows or that someone's like taught, basically. So this is the one that will see the angel in the temple. This is the one that will see beyond the mirror. Look at this. You see this? You see this? Coming out of this like portal looking thingy. I'm like all backwards and mixed up. You see this river? I keep doing it. There you go. You see this river? And there was the river that was in with the people. And I was like, oh, like the Kohaku River. Like it's an embodiment of the river. It's a personification of the river. So it's like this would be the Jeff that the tabloids and everybody else talks about. This would be, it's like real Jeff, but it's like that would be the, like if I use people, it's weird because now it's like the metaphor doesn't necessarily work anymore. But let's say it's like it's Jeff's proxy, if I'm using that right. It's like it's Jeff's personal assistant. Like it may not be Jeff, but it's someone who like knows everything about Jeff. Or it's like it's someone who personally knew Jeff, and so they can tell you about the real Jeff. Like this is what like actually happened. Like the tales say this. This is what actually happened. I have it like I was there personally, or I know somebody who was. And like this is the real story. Hey David, how you doing today? And I say that because again, it's the shadow of the one. It'd be like an avatar. It's an avatar of Jeff that this person can interact with and their eyes won't melt out of their heads. But you know, maybe like Psyche, they'll get to the point where they can see Jeff and all of Jeff's fullness and glory, and their eyes won't melt. Oh my gosh, right on top of the Eight of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles and Death. This just feels like at this point, oh, you can see the world right there too. There's the world. At this point, the Ace of Pentacles symbolizes the world. Oh, look, here's the world in reverse. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's fine. It's like at this point when you get to see the real Jeff and like get to know the real Jeff rather than like the folklore and the stuff like that. Balance is back. Glad to hear it. It's like it's a realization that changes like the whole world for someone because they no longer live in the empty room or they no longer see Jeff as an inanimate statue in an empty room or something. Like, I'm praying to you, Jeff, or I'm sitting with you, Jeff, but like, you're not talking back. Or it's like if someone here is like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like I go in there and I was like, I swear I went in there and I made an offering to Jeff and Jeff appeared. Like this was like the stories say that this is Jeff's favorite dish. Jeff really loved pastrami. Jeff didn't actually like pastrami, but there was somebody who was like selling pastrami that said that Jeff liked pastrami so that they could sell more pastrami. You know what I mean? For them, it was all about selling the pastrami. It's like Jeff, like actually notorious. Like for the people who knew Jeff, like they knew that Jeff did not like pastrami. So like if you're gonna give Jeff an offering, and you want the like actual real life Jeff to show up, don't listen to the stories. Don't leave the pastrami because you're just lining somebody else's pocket. But then it's like, you go, not you specifically, the eternal child goes and they bring the offering and Jeff doesn't show up. And they're like it was so convincing. Like I really thought Jeff would like be here. Like I got the pastrami and everything. I went to the specific city where Jeff was born, and I bought this super famous pastrami that was there 200 years ago, even though it's only been around for like 150 years. But like 50 years after Jeff's time, they were like, oh yeah, Jeff loved this. And Jeff and the people who knew Jeff weren't there to be like, yeah, actually he didn't. Maybe, okay, it's fine. I was about to get lost in the metaphor. I don't have to get that lost. It's fine. But like that's the eternal child in the empty room. This, again, it's like there's something in the authenticity of getting to know oneself. I wonder if it almost like, it's fine. It's already been over an hour. Like, I feel like at this point you get it. I don't have to beat the metaphor into the ground. I really want to move this out to either side. But it's fine. Guardian angel. One second. Hold up. I saw on Instagram earlier today. I don't know why I'm doing this. Earlier today. If you know, you know. I saw an image of a guardian angel, and it makes me think of like, it's like someone who like thinks that they're in the empty room, but in reality it's like Jeff has been like doing all of these things behind the scenes type of energy. Why is it that energy? I don't remember. Oh, because it was like there's something about like a resonance. It's like as all of the excess is coming off, there's something that this person does, or there's something that happens that again, like they begin to hear and understand the truth of Jeff. Rather than, I feel like we can even do that with people that we know, right? Like we think that someone is a certain way, so we see them in that way, both good and bad. Either like rosy tinted glasses or just like sun blockers. We see someone in the worst possible light because X, Y, or Z, and like no matter what they do, it's always like bad. Or we see someone in the best way, and no matter how like crappy they may be sometimes, it's like we don't see it. It's like we interact and interface with the projection that we have of that person rather than like the actual person. But take that and apply it to Jeff. But yeah, one's like whole world changes. And it's not surprising because, again, not this card, this one. Like there's a world where the man welcomes the angel, open arms embrace, but in the world in reverse, it's like it never comes. I don't know. This was interesting. It's time for me to go to bed. Yeah, and that's like the kiss and the seven of swords. It's like there are all of these like brushes with Jeff, where like Jeff's been there the whole time, or the truth of Jeff has been there the whole time. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, Jeff was my uncle. Like, what? I did my answer. This video is not sponsored. I did my insert company here, DNA, whatever, and I found out that Jeff was like my uncle, or like my great 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 grand uncle, or whatever. I'm related to Jeff. And then you become like, I feel like Jeff would have liked apples instead of pastrami. And Jeff is like, yeah, Jeff would definitely like apples and hate pastrami. Hate is a strong word. Jeff would absolutely despise pastrami. So basically, I guess, like, long story short, or the moral of the story, the moral of this tale is the more that we can see and acknowledge ourselves truly, wholly, and authentically, the better able we are to see through the two-way mirror to whatever's on the other side, rather than just seeing a projection of ourselves. Now for funsies, we'll look and see what's at the bottom of these. So at the bottom of the person deck is the mother. This is very, 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 very extremely insanely interesting. That's like a personal synchronicity. That's a for me, it's a personal like uh validation of this story. That would be one of my like, yeah, you told the story right, even though it's just a story. At the bottom of the places is the empty room, which is again like, yeah, because again, it's like the mother is there, but the mother is the one that we haven't seen. Like the mother is the truth of Jeff, or the mother is a very big part of the truth of Jeff. That without knowing the mother, like you don't know Jeff. No matter how well you know Jeff through Jeff's father, if you don't know Jeff's mother, you don't know Jeff. Jeff's father is the one that likes pastrami and tried to force Jeff to. It's like Jeff. Maybe that's why Jeff hates pastrami or despises pastrami, because Jeff's dad loved pastrami, and Jeff's mom liked to make Jeff's dad what he loves, and Jeff is like, "We always eat pastrami. I got pastrami out." Like the folks who grow up on pineapple and then they don't like pineapple because they had it all the time as a kid and they didn't want it. They got burnt out on pineapple, but still had to keep eating it for like 10 years because they were still under the roof of whoever was shucking out pineapple. And then the one of thing is the ring. This is commitment. This is just like a kiss means nothing. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it, type of energy. You know what I mean? So there you go. Am I going to get final cards? Sure. Am I going to mix these all together to get a final card? No. But, I mean, I guess I didn't pull any of the 71 through 78, so I don't have to mix those either. Cool. I felt satisfied with that. This is the vibe now. I grab an alcoholic beverage from the fridge after my last day off. I pull cards. We do whatever. And then I go to bed, hopefully. Or Starbucks, because it's triple star day today. And I got suckered into the stars. But then I get free drinks, so, you know. Are they free or am I paying? I guess technically the drinks are free, because if I didn't have the app, I would still be spending all that money and not getting the free drink. It's like I could spend money and have the app and build up loyalty to get free stuff, Or I could spend the money, not have the app, and then not get anything. You know what I mean? So in that way, I'll say, yeah, it is free. Because the loyalty isn't like default. Right. Okay. Ooh. As soon as I was about to be like tarot apocalypse, give me a card. Was that the song? Or was it a different Britney Spears song? When I was like, I don't know this song. And then I sang more of it. The Ten of Wands and the Hanged Man have come out as the final cards from the tarot apocalypse. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords again. The Seven of Swords in this deck, to me, it's not necessarily typical. The Seven of Swords in this deck, to me, is like something is more than it seems. Or it's very like, we lose one thing to gain something that's much better. But it's in the loss that we don't necessarily see what we have to gain. Or it's like, even if we do see it, we're so consumed by the loss that we don't have room to appreciate or to recognize that what we've gained actually makes up for what we've lost and then some. For all of the trouble you've been through, the best is double just for you. Type of energy. But we can only focus on the trouble. This is very like the journey makes the man type of energy. Like it's because of the challenges and difficulties and things that we go through that we become the people that we are. I also saw something, I loved it. One of my friends shared something on their Instagram story that was like, it was basically like trauma didn't make me strong. I went through trauma and then decided to be strong. It was like I went through trauma and then made myself strong and compassionate and caring. It's like the happening, the event, the thing itself didn't do anything. It's the choices, decisions, and everything else that I made after the fact. That's the reason why I am the way that I am today. That's the one that can see what they have to gain rather than focusing on all that they've lost. Oh, Eve, you've been lurking? I didn't timestamp final cards. I'll timestamp it back like 5 minutes. This is your reminder that timestamps on this channel are approximations. I'll say like 1:08. How are you doing, Eve? How art thou today? You know that video I sent you? So that video that I sent you that was like, oh my gosh. I watched that after my 12-hour shift, right before I went to bed. And so that's why it was really like, what? Oh my gosh. To me. I was like, nothing is real. Kind of, but oh, speaking of, what's hilarious is I actually thought of that video while I was doing this. When dude was like, y'all don't even know me. And I guess it's fine. I don't have to go into it. It is not necessary. I got this. I left this book out like I was going to read it. Cool. Today is the sun in Sagittarius yet? When does Sagittarius season start? I feel like today we're kicking off Sagittarius season. Today's been such an interesting day already. It's triple star day. I got my jacket that I ordered forever ago. I was literally just like, oh my gosh, like I wonder if it came in. Something else happened that I don't remember. It's fine. Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. I had a dream a few nights ago, and now I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I need to get this room together. I think that's something I want to do within the next few weeks. I don't know what I'm going to get. I still need to, it's fine. All right, so next I'm going to put away the well-known archetypes. Oh, let me flip these back over. The creator and the self. Look at all this color. So I flipped over agape. Oh, it's not even. It's arrows. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's kind of wild, Loki. Because I was talking about Cupid and Psyche, right? Eros and Psyche. Eros was like, you can't look at me. Like you can't. But then Psyche eventually got to the point where she could. This is all the color coming to the self that walked away, the self that now holds the gold and the gold and the pearl at the core of their being, the self that can see Jeff, the self that is very well acquainted with Jeff. Here's Jeff, basically, the Jeff that no one could see before. And then you see like all the colors and the creator rather than just like the sustainer. So basically, I flipped over when I was trying to find the card that didn't belong. When I went looking for the river, I flipped all those cards over, and I was turning it back over so I can shuffle it, and I accidentally flipped over an extra card, and that's when I saw the cards that I just showed you. The self. That's when I saw the self. I was like, I literally just saw it. Oh, guess what card came out? The self. It came back out. Bottom of the deck is the comic. In the comic, we see like all of these cards are all of these colors outside of the self. I guess what's interesting, at work, been busy. It's actually been very slow for me at work for the past like 2 rotations. Not to like, but it was so busy before. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh. Feet hurting. Dogs barking incessantly. But it's like for Thanksgiving, it's been very smooth sailing. So I'm like, thank you. I could not take anymore. But I hope, well, I think you said what generally at the end of the month y'all get busy over there. So I hope you get through the busy to the calm. What's interesting about these two though is that in both the comic and the self, all of the color is outside. This is also, so the self is the one that can see Jeff. This comic card had flummoxed me for the longest time. I was very perplexed and confused until one day I was like, this card is actually low-key kind of creepy AF. Because you can see the eyes of Jeff behind the mask of the cat. And remember, it was the one in the shadow. It was the shadow of the one so that our eyes don't burn out of our faces. But this was the psyche that became deified so that she could not only look at Cupid, not only kiss Cupid, but so that like Cupid could put a ring on it so that they could actually be together. She became more so. She rose to his level. And it's like, now this is the psyche that can see through the mask to the eyes of the real person behind. Cool. You watched a werewolf movie last night? My coworker has been watching Teen Wolf. So I also saw werewolves. And like, I didn't see a full moon in the show, but you know, werewolves in the moon. And I was like, man, I haven't watched this in a while. Got me wanting to get back into Teen Wolf. She was like, you should watch this show. I think you would like it. It's called Teen Wolf. I was like, oh, been there, done that. Loved it. All right, the place. Oh my gosh. It's the temple again. Psyche can see Cupid at the temple, outside the temple. Okay, like we gotta. All right, and then the thing. It better be like the vow or something. Like, ooh. It's Kairos. This is interesting. This is very timeless energy. You were 3 minutes behind. So you saw it? When I was like, oh my gosh. This is very like if someone were to ever, it's like if we were to ever achieve something, we've already achieved it. Like it's already within us, even if we haven't done it yet. I know you probably haven't, but if you've seen Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, it's very Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works with Emiya. I don't remember his name, but the main character. It's actually kind of similar. There is a character who lives his life in such a way to be deified. And we see him summoned as like this deity mythological figure, but we don't know that they're the same person until later in the show. But it's that like how they can exist at the same time in the same place. It's like because there's after he becomes deified or whatever, he exists like at all in all time and in all place. Like the laws of time and consequentialism no longer apply to him. So he can go into his own past and it not create this whole like, but the fabric of the universe and paradox, this universe will cease to exist because you can't exist in the same place at the same time. Don't touch yourself. Like, don't come into contact because it creates this paradox that the universe cannot sustain. At that point, it's because Psyche becomes capable of being with Eros that. So it's almost kind of sort of a little bit like even if she were to see Eros, she would be fine. Ish. See, I feel like I just entered that territory when I was like, I feel like I've done a decent-ish job at like keeping this believable or whatever. I don't know. Less woo than it could be a little bit. But then at the end, it was just like, that's also, there's another anime that I've watched. That one hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's like a great spirit that's summoned. And it's my theory and my brother's theory, or maybe my friend's theory, because I don't remember how much of that show my brother watched. I think he did see that part. It's our theory that that great spirit that was summoned is actually the girl while she's still a child. And it's like, what? I don't know. Don't ask me. All right. Archeo, the final Archeo. Ooh. Oh, how many is this? It's only one. Thank you. It hit the table sounding like it was 5 cards. Ooh. This is really interesting to come out after I talked about, after the Kairos card came out, with it being like somehow consequentialism, or the sequence of consequence is broken because of an ability that will be gained later. There's another Hunter x Hunter is another one where someone like taps into their future potential in the present moment, but their future potential at the present moment was too much for their body. It like put them beyond death's door, and through the magic of miracle, they come back to life, basically, kind of in a way. So the card at the bottom of the deck, the card came out face down. It was one card. It sounded like 5, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, please!" It was one. The bottom of the deck is the Illuminator, and I'm like, so we see the sun, where it's always been the moon from the moon behind the mirror to the sun, right? So it goes beyond seeing the truth of, or it goes beyond knowing that Jeff is on the other side of that two-way mirror. It goes beyond like putting your finger up to the mirror to check and see if it's actually a two-way mirror or not. But it's like, again, like this is when Psyche and Eros like become like married. So it's like it's the sun of Jeff, like the fullness, the fully illuminated Jeff that would blind, just like, the real sun. They say don't stare at it because it will damage your eyes. There's the sun. It's at the lighthouse. And the card that came out face down is Reflector. And so we see like the moon, or like silver on this side, and then the sun, gold on that side. But for some reason, again, this is giving me this card was at the cut. What was at the bottom of the deck? This was at the cut first, before I saw intimacy. Because I cut the deck. I was like, oh, this card is at the bottom. And then I shuffled it. Maybe I didn't actually mention it. I think I just looked at it. I was like, oh. I was like, ooh. Because, this is like kind of God coded. It's like dude with beard and hair. When that empty room came out. And I was like, oh, snap. So he is there. Oops, sorry. And the Heraith is behind this. The Heraith is longing for a home that one can remember that doesn't exist, but it's like it's because it hasn't happened yet. It's a longing that we would associate with the past, or something that we have to go back to or reclaim, but it's actually something that we're being called towards. It lies in our future, not in our past. If it resonates, maybe for you, it does actually lie in your past. Take it as it resonates, if it resonates. And if it don't resonate, don't take it. Cool. So there we go. Whatever that was. Which is not, I don't know. There's this very interesting, apparently, there's this very interesting line of reading / whatever is going on in this channel lately, because it was that like, this feels like the divine is like showing up. Like your guardian angel has that, the one that takes notes on you or whatever, like their boss is really impressed and their boss is impressed and their boss is like, well, let me go and meet them. And then you're like, what? And now it's like you got promoted. Or yeah, because then before that I was like, are people even still getting like raptured while they're still living? Like, are Enochs still becoming Metatrons? Are there people still becoming Bodhisattvas? Are there people who are still becoming saints? Like the saints that weren't like Saint Michael, Archangel Michael, the saints that were like people who lived lives and then achieved sainthood. I just pull cards. I'm a Pisces, okay? I have a vivid imagination. It is very interesting nonetheless, though. And there was that wolf that was watching, waiting behind the veil. See, but there was a feeling that, like, at the heart of the forest is the temple. But the temple has one of those disorienting whatever's around it. That's when I pulled the magic cards. And there was the tower and like that city of light. And it was like outside of time or whatever. And it's like, no matter how, like, you can't get any closer. Like, you would, if you try to walk towards it, you would literally spend an eternity walking and never get any closer. And it kind of goes back to, or it's kind of very akin to the energy that came out. It's all recently now because my brain can't keep track of when whatever, and I don't go live as often as I used to. So I guess now it's more difficult. But it was the one like, this isn't something that's achieved by time. It isn't like, oh, wait 20 years and then this will happen, or tomorrow this is going to happen. It's like there's a point that we reach. There's something that we achieve. There's a decision or a choice that we make. And because we make that choice and decision, something else happens. It's a sign of maturity. And once, yeah, because I was like, it's like, instead of when you become 18, here's a bunch of money. It's like when you can prove that you are mature and can make reasonable decisions financially, then you will come into a large sum of money. Like, that's how the clause was written. It's a different kind of contract. I don't know. Anyway, it's just interesting. So I don't know. Take it as it resonates. If it resonates, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey, when you find. I hope that your intuition and discernment be healthy, live, and well. I hope that you find or exhibit a courage that will have you seeking fearlessly, that will have you seeking maybe even fearfully the things that you truly desire, but going after them anyway. That's why I hope that courage for you. Because, like, if you're not scared, it's not really courageous. It's not really brave if you don't think that you may fail. It's just like another Tuesday, right? But again, all of that falls into the whatever you need along your way. So, and until then, I will catch you next time with, let's see, I'm curious. Hey, not Siri. Hey, Google, give me a number between 1 and 1 billion.
Here's a random number, 991,334,790.
991,334,790. 991,334,790. 991,334,790. I don't know what I'm doing. I just typed it into Google. Angel number. If I had to break this down, 3 9s all cancel out. Then it's 1 3 3 4 7. 3 and 3 6 4 10 18, which is a 9. So this is a 9. It's a 1 2 3 4 5 9, so 45. Hey Google, what is 9 plus 9 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9?
The answer is 45.
Hey, it's 45. I don't know. There you go. Bye.